RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Rational Investor. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Woohoo, party, fireworks, fireworks. Obviously, we've got fireworks happening in crypto land. You can see all the liquidations here. July 4th liquidations. Happy 4th of July from the crypto market. So if you've got Bitcoin, you might not be having as happy of a 4th of July here, especially if you trade with any sort of leverage. You can see that we're hitting liquidation levels where we generally bounce a bit. So we could expect to see some kind of bounce in this area, but don't expect to see the downtrend, to think that the downtrend is necessarily over. I could see possibly more here. And you can see look at how many liquidations there are. It's crazy how much money they take from people with this kind of stuff. This is why trading on leverage is dangerous. But I think we have more to go. I think we need to see something like this liquidation bar here, like 200 million liquidated, which means we need to come somewhere down, possibly in this range. And I've talked about this, and I posted charts in the Discord. Sorry we're late, by the way. I'm going to pull up the YouTube to talk to you guys there. We're only going to do a public show today. I just have too many things going on. I can't do the after party. I think we can just go over general market sentiment, and we're just going to look at crypto today for the most part. I will touch on stocks a little bit, but since the stock market is closed, I don't really think we need to, but I can give at least a little bit of my overview and what I see coming over the next week. Again, sorry for being late. Had some issues with my mouse and my microphone, and I don't know why. You would think that since I don't move these things, I wouldn't have issues, but I do. It's weird. Next week, I hopefully will have the camera. We'll see. But I figured it's not a big deal. You guys can see more of the screen. Let me pull up the news here. So nothing really happening today. We do have the FOMC. Well, the FOMC meeting minutes came out yesterday. And then today, we don't really have anything happening. You have unemployment rate on Friday, and then nothing until Powell speaks next Tuesday. This is the big thing to keep an eye on, is next Tuesday at 9 p.m. for Bangkok, 9 a.m. for East Coast time. Powell is going to be testifying, so obviously there's going to be market jitters around that, and other FOMC members will be speaking. Overnight reverse repo, the spike that we saw has come back down, so that liquidity has been taken back and put somewhere else. Curious why that spike, because it is a very, very large spike. We don't normally see a spike that large. I'm curious I don't know exactly what happened there, but something did, which massively threw off my liquidity indicator. You see how it took a dump here and then it turned around. Not really sure what happened there, but you can see how the markets are all over the place. Like, liquidity has basically been frozen since February, January. We really haven't gone anywhere with liquidity, while the stock market has continued to just go higher. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is diverging and heading lower. Now, some people have speculated that's because Germany has apparently sold 10,000 Bitcoins. That could be the catalyst. There's always some kind of news to drive a downtrend, but I wouldn't bet that that's the primary 100% reason. I don't think that's the only reason for this. I think there could be multiple reasons with the Germany news providing a catalyst, but we also have a lot of technicals that were indicating that Bitcoin had to have a pullback. So not a huge surprise here. We've been talking about this. You know what? Let's do this. Why don't I talk about a couple things with the S&P and show you Tesla? I talked about Tesla for like multiple weeks that this was going to happen. Now Tesla's going crazy. Why is Tesla going crazy? What is everyone talking about? They're talking about the Optimus robot. I told you guys about that a month ago. So if you were watching the streams, hopefully you caught that and you were able to get in on some Tesla. This run up is not a surprise at all. and it could move very, 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 very far. It could. I mean, if this W's out, look at the W here. So Tesla is something I'm keeping my eye on. If it W's, Tesla could potentially, let's get rid of this, go to $800. That's basically your W. And you can also see you've got like an ABCD here. I don't think the ABCD points that high. ABCD points to 500. So a double from here. But Tesla could go all the way up here to $800 if this Optimus robot is as successful as I expect it to be. So keep an eye on Tesla. Hopefully, if you're not in, you get a little bit of a pullback here where, you know, some of these gaps are filled and you can buy at 200 or something like that. If you didn't buy down here, you did have a lot of time. I did talk about it a lot. So woohoo for anyone that, congratulations for anyone that bought Tesla. You can celebrate now, or at least start celebrating, but I wouldn't sell yet. You can maybe take a little bit of profits if you really want, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's going to much higher. Okay, so that was Tesla. I just wanted to talk about Tesla really quick. We'll take a quick boo at the S&P 500, even though, again, it's closed. I told you last week that 5,500 was my target. We hit that. I said that we would sit in that range for a while. I also said that zone is an area to consider taking profits, but not necessarily an area to consider starting to short, which means that I thought we could go higher, and we did. We are now at 5,530. So now the question is, okay, how much higher from here? Well, the answer is I don't know, but I'm watching this daily trend. Actually, I do prefer the 12-hour. I think it's a little bit more accurate, and you can see how we're potentially topping out in this area. You've got major divergences forming right here. No confirmation. I would like to see a confirmation. Once you get that pullback here, once you're below that, then you can really pile into the shorts. But until that happens, I would be a bit more cautious. You can short up here, just set tight stops and be prepared to get stopped out multiple times. That's how the cookie crumbles. But I mean, we have a weekly chart with a 9. We have a 3D chart with an 8. And we've got a daily chart where a 7, probably an 8 is coming in eventually. And then you've got a monthly 8. So you have multiple Tom DeMark signals telling you that we're topping, along with the crypto market pulling back. Crypto is normally early. Bitcoin pulls back before the normal stock market. So consider this a huge warning that with the pullback in the crypto market, the stock market could follow soon after. And the next question is, well, where does it go to? Where could we pull back to? If we look at a weekly chart over the past year, down to 2022, we could say if this was the top, then areas to consider buying would be down here. Right there. 3,950 to 4,300, basically. 0.618, 0.786, and even down here, 3,700. Those would be your areas to consider buying. That is how far to the downside? Let's see. Price range. Yeah. About a 33% drop to the downside. That's what you consider buying once we're down there. So that would be the S&P. That's kind of what I'm seeing once this does roll over, but a lot of warning signs. Monthly TD9, monthly TD8, not a 9 yet. Weekly 9, 3-day 8, daily a 7 or 8 is coming soon. So a lot of stuff signaling, hey, you know, this market doesn't have much higher. This market can't head much higher. All right, so that's the legacy market. But what you guys are really interested in is crypto, right? I mean, Bitcoin has just absolutely taken a massive poop. Look at a weekly chart to see how this has really been a disaster. I'm gonna change this and put it on the lower time frame. This visibility, I don't want it on a weekly chart. All right, just get rid of that. So this looks like a disaster right now. But Bitcoin has a habit of looking absolutely terrible and then recovering. So right now on the weekly, we have broken down on this RSI uptrend line. However, what if we bounce and recover all of this by Sunday? If we recover all of this back to 63, this isn't going to look that bad. And then we're just like, oh, well, that was just a blip in the radar to liquidate everyone, and now we can head higher. However, if that's not the case, we're heading lower, as I show here. This was a bear flag. Now the bear flag is broken down. ABCD target points to right down here, 50,000 area, 50,000 to 48,000. I've seen some major Twitter analysts that I respect pointing out this level as well. It could even go lower to this 46K area. So 46 to 50K, I would consider as like a very nice buying zone if we do continue to break down and we don't have that huge recovery. You can see also we're sitting at the 200-day moving average. It's a tough spot. We either bounce from here or we move down to 50K. That's it. That's all I can say. I can't say what is going to happen for sure. What I do know is that using any kind of leverage in this area is extremely dangerous. And the market is going to move violently one way or the other, and it's going to be extremely hard to catch that move. So your best bet is if you have dry powder, consider dollar cost averaging on the way down. Don't use any leverage and kind of wait for the dust to settle. You're not going to catch the absolute bottom. It's just not going to happen. But if you can catch most of the trend to the upside or the downside, then that's, you want to catch the 70% move, 70% of the move, not 100%. Because that's how you get in trouble. So right now, it's a coin toss. I mean, I think it looks like crap, but you have this massive support, and Bitcoin has a habit of bouncing at the 200-day moving average. And already lots of fear and people taken out, liquidations all taken out down here. I showed you the liquidation chart. I mean, we could have went a little bit lower, 56,500, but I'm sure it took out a lot of people still. I showed you this liquidation chart. You saw how many people got liquidated here. Honestly, I think it could be bigger. We didn't even liquidate as many people as we did in June. I think we could liquidate more and get to like 150 million liquidation level. By the way, look how big the liquidations are here in this area starting in March in comparison to before. Like before, the liquidations were not that big. And here they're just massive liquidations where price is just kind of ranging and hunting for those liquidation areas and just killing people left and right. And that shows you that's what the market really does. Talk about the wallets and exchanges. Out of normal exchanges like Binance, looks very difficult to trade, swapping like the different tokens, coins, wallets. DeFi is ready to keep it track and trade, especially buyer sell orders. Yeah, I mean, mostly I like to go over technical analysis and where I think the market's heading. But to answer your question, Rocky, DeFi is very difficult to track. I personally, and I know a lot of people prefer using centralized exchanges for keeping track. DeFi, I think, is really best for people that just want to buy and hold. That's the easiest. But if you're trying to really accumulate and buy a lot of coins, I think there are a lot of hoops to jump through, and it's really not an easy process. And I don't think any kind of normal person is going to spend their time trying to do that. And that's why so many coins try to get listed on those centralized exchanges, because they know to get volume with their coin and have people trading it and paying attention, they need to get listed on centralized exchanges, because those are the easiest things for people to use. Think of a centralized exchange as like a Walmart. At Walmart, you can buy anything in the one store. You don't have to go to another store. But if you use Web3 only platforms, oftentimes you have to go to one store to buy one thing, then you've got to leave the store, you got to drive to another shopping mall and buy and go to the next store, and so on and so forth. And it's a bit annoying. While with the centralized exchanges, it's all in one place. I think that's the best analogy I can give for that. Hopefully it makes sense. All right, so there's really just two scenarios. You bounce here like this, hard bounce, do that, and then we head up, or we just do this, doop, and we just play down here, and probably, you know, maybe do that, or we just bounce quickly and we do that. Those are kind of your scenarios that I'm seeing. I can't say which way it's going to go. I really can't. There's no 8s or 9s to say that this is going to stop. If this weekly breaks down, I'm very concerned. We will probably end up being stuck in this area down here for quite a while. I think it's going to be quite painful for a lot of people. And yeah, it sucks. But normally when a 4-hour chart rolls over like this and it just sits down here, it's not a good sign. This is not what you want to see if you expect the market to bounce. You don't want to see a 4-hour chart looks like this, and then a daily chart looks like this. When that happens, when the 4-hour chart looks like this, it's looking to go lower. And so that's what I could see happening, especially like a wick. You know, just do wick, and then you play in this area, another one, play in this area, and who knows what this time frame would be. It could be a month, 2 months, 3 months, who knows, where things just sit down there and the big money accumulates. The whales kind of accumulate down here, and the public gets bored and either capitulates or just sells and capitulates and walks away, or gets liquidated, one of those two, and things reaccumulate, and then we head up. That's a potential scenario. That's what it's looking like. I really suggest please don't use any leverage at this time. This is when most people get liquidated. You really need to avoid doing that, and I'm saying that for myself as much as anyone listening to this, because this is this is not the time, as Brian likes to say, to be a hero. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Maybe we look at total. Sometimes that gives a little bit better view of what's happening. But as you can see, it kind of looks almost exactly the same as Bitcoin. Really no difference here at all. The weekly I can adjust a bit, but it's at the end of the day, it's the same. Everything's red to the point that some stuff is oversold, which gives some credit to my theory that we could bounce here. And if we don't, then, like I said, heading down to that 50K region. 38.2 is right here. Just adjust myself here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of some of these lines. Yeah, and we're going to go to a weekly chart. I mean, this is your M top scenario. Like, this looks like crap. This would not be a good scenario to break down from. If I flip this, hold on. So basically your buying zone would be down here. Right in the 78.6 at 1 trillion. Right now we're at 2 trillion. That's another 50% haircut for the entire market if this confirms. Total disaster here. Not a good look. Very interesting, by the way, that we topped and stopped going higher at the same time that the term crypto, the search term crypto topped out on Google Trends. So literally the minute the public became max interested, the market just started liquidating people. Like they're like, okay, let's buy. And the market was like, okay, we finally have liquidity to sell to. And they sold everything here. And the public is just getting totally wrecked. This market's brutal. It's truly brutal. It would be an understatement to say it's anything other than that. Okay, so that's total. Maybe we look at total 3 to give a little bit better picture on like what's going on with altcoins. Total 3 looks worse and better all at the same time. So when I say it looks better, I mean RSI has more support on a weekly. If you see how I adjusted this line, it's basically sitting at RSI support. However, price is lower. Price has already gone below the lowest low from back in April and is not looking great. But it doesn't have as far to fall as, say, the total market cap. So if we look at just total 3 and we go all the way down here, we're not going to get cut in half. We're only going to drop. Why do I always have trouble finding this? Only like 30% more. That's it, which is still going to hurt because obviously some of these alts are already down 70%, 80%. They're just destroyed. But it's not nearly as bad as that total chart where Bitcoin has a long way to fall. I don't see total falling that far, by the way. If we go back to that. I think 38.2 is a more realistic target, 38.2 to 50%, which would be, 38.2 is just 8% and 50% is just 20%. So not too big. I see more like that. I don't see us. I mean, maybe we take out down here to the 200-week moving average and we go down 30%, but I don't see us going down all the way to 78.6, all the way down here, 40%, 50% move. I see us going kind of to this area. Again, that's assuming the downside bearish scenario plays out. There's always the case that this is just massive fear. Sorry. And we're going to bounce from this area after they've liquidated a couple more people. But I don't think they've liquidated enough people. I just based on what I saw from this coin analyze chart, I think there's more blood to be spilled. I think we need more blood. That's what it looks like to me. And you can see here the liquidations, huge amount here. This is kind of why we bounced, because we liquidated 16 million. Somebody got liquidated for 16 million right here. Huge amounts, huge amounts taken by the market. Disastrous. Okay, so that is that's Bitcoin. That's what I'm thinking about Bitcoin. I mean, you've seen this on Twitter and stuff like that. I think I'm not saying anything that's new. We can look at Solana. Solana pulled back quite a bit. Solana's chart is a little bit less clear, but still kind of looks terrible. Like if you look at this, right? So Solana basically said it already broke down as of the middle of June. And it's ready. It's ripe and ready to head lower. We had a target possibly of like $50. $50 to $31 is where it could go. I'll be shocked if we go that low, but that's if we really go full bear, it could go that low. But again, of course, we could just bounce from here. There's that caveat. Right now, daily looks pretty crappy. Nothing clear here. No real like obvious signals of what's going to happen next. 4 hour, you do have a 9, which has given you this bit of a bounce, but we are sitting down here in this red zone. Not a good area to be in. No real hyper aggressive bounces. I'm not seeing anything that makes me think, oh, we're going to definitely bottom here. I'm more so seeing like we're just consolidating before the next leg lower. I'm going to see if I can kind of show you like here we consolidated. See how we just consolidated and then we rolled over in one candle and we're at the new low level. That's kind of what I'm seeing again, where we're just sitting down there and consolidating before we make another move lower. So not great. Not great at all. Show you like this. Yeah, so there's your downtrend line. You want to see this broken to the upside before you can really get bullish. Add alert. Put an alert on this. Create. So there's that. Rune's another one I'm watching. Also looks like crap. 4 hours just sitting down there in like the dead zone. Daily could be considered an uptrend with RSI, where you have a major divergence coming in. But as long as crypto and everything else keeps heading lower, this is also going to keep heading lower. I need to see a break above this trend line here before I could get too bullish on Rune. If Rune does break down, targets are down here, like $2, $2, and $2.50. That area, which is a further move of like 40. It could be up to That's a bit extreme. Let's go here up to about 40% further downside. That's painful. That's painful if you hold a lot of spot. That I feel for anyone who's hurting right now. This is not a fun market. And I do feel that they really pulled a fast one here on a lot of people, where I think many people even up here were thinking the bull run hadn't even really started. If you look at the names on crypto Twitter, there's so many names, and I talked about a lot of those influencers looking at like this guy's coin and that guy's coin, saying this is going to go 50x, this is going to go 100x, and yet instead the coins are down 50 to 70%. I'm sure you guys remember me going through a lot of their names and talking about how we need to be careful with these influencers, because they're just kind of shilling coins, and you know, you pick enough coins, you'll eventually be right over a great enough period of time. But as traders and technical analysts, you cannot blindly follow what major accounts are saying is going to pump for arbitrary reasons. You need to look at the charts and see, does this make sense from a technical standpoint? And in certain areas it did, but really in crypto, I think it's important to look at a weekly chart and pay attention to the weekly trends, because we did start to get some divergence here. You did have an 8 to kind of time that top, and now in hindsight that's quite obvious with the weekly. The daily, I did look at a daily before, and this move worked out where it was buying in the $4 range, and then you could have sold in the $7 range. That's a decent 50% move, more than 50% move. And now the rest of it is playing out with the next move to the downside. There you go. There was your move, and then it just didn't move as high as I would have liked if you use chaos, right? So that would have been, you didn't even get close to your chaos target at $10. That's where, according to chaos, it should have went, but it got cut short. Yeah, like that, basically. And sometimes that happens. Not everything works 100% of the time. Maybe it only works 50% or 40% or 60%. 60% would be really good. If it works 60% of the time, that is a massive edge. I think Brian says you only need an edge of, like, depends on your risk reward ratio, but if it's 2 to 1, you only need to be right 33% of the time to be profitable, or at least break even. If you're right 50% of the time on a 2 to 1, then you're golden. So something to keep in mind. And it's really all about risk reward more than anything. I'm trying to think, what else do I want to show you guys? Went through Solana, Rune, total market cap, looked at Bitcoin. I could look at Ethereum really quick. Are there any coins you guys want to look at? I mean, it all kind of looks the same. That's the thing. It all just kind of looks the same. I've gotten alerts on things like SFUND, which is a big Becker name. And you can see it just got devastated. Like, look at the high, $5. So from the high, how far down are we? 75%. And how much further can we go? Like, where's the potential buy zone? Let's see, down here. I got the wrong. Gotta flip it. Buy zone is here at $1.10. We're almost there. Like, this is a name to consider. You know, maybe we should go through names that you guys should consider. Yeah, I can look at Beam. I think SFUN is a possible name to consider. Look at it down here in the $1 zone. Now that it's massively retraced, almost 80%. Beam, let's take a look at Beam. I don't know anything about this name. But let's see where your reload zone is. This is where it was launched. Yeah, so we're already almost at 78.6, and your reload zone would be down here. So how much did this from the high? Potential low. Yeah, also it would be 80% if it can hit those lows. So 80% retrace. You want to buy down there. It looks like crap, like most of the coins, and it just doesn't look good. Like, but again, you see how RSI here is higher than the price. That is a signal that potentially the downtrend is slowly coming to an end and could reverse. And that's why I'm saying in this area we could get a reversal and move up, or we break down and we head down to the 50K Bitcoin area. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's such a confusing location. Up. Okay. Oh, also another new coin. Okay. Look at what happened on launch day. Just like skyrocketed up. I don't know if I should take it from here or from here. It vastly changes it. I would expect it to take out the lows here. Just liquidate anyone who has stops right here, right below the lows, and then it can head higher. And I also think it's subject to what's going on in the rest of the crypto market. So I have to wait to see how that also plays out. Like if Bitcoin's heading higher, this will probably bounce, and it might not even hit these targets. It really depends on that. Good to hear, Rocky. Next week, I should have my camera. Sorry about that. But maybe you guys find it better where you don't have to see my face in the bottom corner. You get more screen real estate. Any other coins anybody wants to check? I mean, it's going to be basically the same regardless of what we look at. Everything's just in a downtrend. It all kind of trades together. And that's why I say be careful with the diversification meme. It does work well on the way up, but on the way down, everything kind of gets burned. It's just a massive forest fire of destruction. Pendle's also at support, same as Bitcoin. 200-day moving average support could be an area to consider acquiring some. However, again, I don't like how this 4 hours looking, and you could head lower. That's essentially the story of the day. Is it could go either way. Dog, Dennis, or do you mean Doge? Like this dog? Is this what you wanted to look at? Okay, newly launched coin. Damn, not much history. Oh, I'm not a fan when there's very little history. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. You're at support. This is a major support area. So the nice thing about this one is you have a clear invalidation level. You could long here. Say your stop just a little bit below the lows, maybe like that. And you could target the old highs up here. And you've got a 7-to-1 risk reward. I mean, you could even head a little bit lower. And you still got a 6-to-1 risk reward. Because if you look at fibs here. So you'd want to be selling here and here. 78.6 ideally is good as a sales target. So that's a 6-to-1 risk reward ratio. You could even stop. You could even sell at the 61.8 level, and it's still a 5-to-1. It's not bad. And if it rolls over, you only lose 10%. But if it doesn't, then you can make 55. RNDR. All right, sure. Let's look at it. RNDR. Renda. Alright. Get rid of this. Look at it on a weekly. Weekly is absolutely shit. It's just pure, like this would be the uptrend line, right? Absolute destruction since basically the middle of June. You know, once it confirmed to the downside here, that was it. This looks terrible on a weekly chart. Obviously, again, we can do the standard fib levels, and we can see that right now, even though price is 6.7, it could potentially go to 5, 3, or even $2. 184 in particular. So I would be very careful with buying Beam for now. It took out the lows, almost all the stops except one. It doesn't look on the daily. Basically, everything's just a wasteland of red. I also have my BGC trend signal thing, where when it's red, you can consider shorts. When it's green, you consider leveraged longs. And when it's black, you don't really do anything. You can consider DCAing into coins, but avoid leverage at all costs. Yeah, so there's render. Doesn't look good, but again, possibility that we can bounce in this area. I wouldn't bet my farm on that happening. I think there's going to be some shenanigans, and then we roll over. All right. Dave asked for Digibyte and then MNDE. I'm only doing these because I'm not going to do an after party today. So we're doing it all public, and then I'm going to go to sleep. It's been a long day with this insane, destructive market. Digibyte. Why does KuCoin have like... Oh, I see. Okay. Damn, destroyed. Look at that. Huh. Absolute just destruction on some of these. Yeah, look at that. All the way down. 88.6. It's basically at the zone where you should be buying it. I mean, this one fully retraced. I'm not even going to look at that spike. I'm just going to take it from here. And yeah, you're at 60% decline. Let's look at a daily. Any kind of, there is a bit of a divergence. Again, not confirmed, but nice to see that kind of divergence coming in and saying, hey, we're getting near a bottom. Consider buying now that we've wrecked everyone that bought since basically March. Oh, this is not a bad one. I kind of like it. I'm going to set an alert if we go a little bit lower. 2 alerts, one here and one here. Let's see if we can get some cheap and ride some spikes in the future. What was the last one? MNDE. Okay, MNDE. Let's do that. MNDE. Marinade. Huh. Interesting name. I mean, it's the same, right? So this is retraced all the way down. Oh, my keyboard battery is running low. Yeah, so you're basically almost at 88.6 already. Right there. Just a little bit further to go. And then you're in waffle territory where it just waffles around until it wants to head higher. That's about it. This area, I mean, this is not a terrible buying zone area. This would be an RLC area. But take your time. Don't buy everything at once. We could sit down here for a while. Again, it really depends what the rest of the crypto market does. We either hardcore bounce from here or we roll over. That's it. And I'm leaning towards possibly rolling over just because I think that not enough people have been liquidated. And we need a little bit more pain. But there is a possibility that I'm underestimating the level of pain out there. And it's a lot. And we can head higher. It's just a question of have enough people capitulated. And I know a few that have, but I know some others that haven't. So it's kind of a mixed bag. And I'm waiting till basically everyone is capitulated. And I think we need lower for that to happen. Okay, so again, the rest of this week, do not, I repeat, try not to stay a trade on leverage. You're going to get wrecked. It's going to be shenanigans until probably next week. And once the dust settles and we've got a clear trend again, then you can consider jumping back on the, if you are into the leverage crack train. Otherwise, just consider, picking a few of your favorite coins and dollar cost averaging into them in the meantime, and trying to keep a little bit of powder dry just in case we keep going lower. I think that's if you're, and that's assuming you're a crypto bull, of course. So that's kind of all I've got. Hope you guys have a great 4th of July. Enjoy it with your families wherever you are. Have a great weekend. Don't spend too much time at the computer, and make sure you get some exercise. You know, especially after eating too many hamburgers, maybe, and cake. Hi, cake, please. Yes, I'm closing out, so no cake, but maybe you enjoy some cake for 4th of July. All right, I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Good weekend. All right, bye, everybody.